It started like any other neighborhood gathering, the usual kind. Plastic cups filled with cheap wine, everyone pretending to be closer than they actually were, and that unspoken competition about who had their life more put together. I didn't think much of it when the conversation shifted to my husband, Mark. He had always been a bit socially awkward, the kind of guy who stumbled over his words or cracked jokes no one understood until it was too late. And yes, I rolled my eyes at him more times than I could count. But that night, after a few too many glasses of Chardonnay and the easy encouragement of the group, I joined in. "We love Mark," someone said with a half-laugh. "But he's, a little different." "Oh, you have no idea," I chimed in, the words slipping out before I could stop them. "You should see him try to fix things around the house. It's like watching a YouTube tutorial in reverse. Everything ends up worse." People laughed, not the polite fake kind, but deep, genuine laughter, the kind that feeds your ego and makes you feel like the funniest person in the room. So I kept going. I swear, sometimes I think Mark is secretly auditioning for America's Funniest Home Videos. Like that time he tried to fix the garbage disposal and ended up flooding the entire kitchen. Classic Mark. By then, everyone was in on it. The men slapped their knees, the women nodded knowingly. I glanced at Mark across the patio. He was by the grill, flipping burgers, his face a carefully composed mass of indifference. That should have been my sign to stop. But the laughter felt too good. "And don't even get me started on his sense of direction," I added with a grin. "Mark could get lost in his own driveway. He's got this navigation app that's supposed to help, but half the time, he argues with it. Like, no, I know a better way." Spoiler alert, he doesn't. Another round of laughter erupted. Even Karen, the woman who looked down on me since we moved in, was wiping away tears from laughing so hard. For once, I felt like I was winning. Then Mark put down the spatula. At first, I thought he was just stepping away to grab something, but he walked toward us, shoulders stiff, jaw clenched. The laughter faded. The air shifted. "Funny stuff, huh?" His voice was calm, steady, but there was a sharpness I had never heard before. "You know what's really funny?" he continued. "Spending 15 years trying to make someone happy, only to find out you're the punchline at a backyard barbecue." Silence, thick and suffocating. I tried to laugh it off. "Oh, come on." But before I could finish, he was already walking away. For a moment, I thought about calling him back, but then my pride kicked in. He's overreacting. It was just a joke. People tease their spouses all the time. That's what I told myself as I put on a pot of coffee and stared out the window, trying to convince myself I wasn't the villain here. But the truth gnawed at me, because no matter how much I tried to ignore it, I could still see his face, and I could still hear the way his voice cracked when he said, 15 years. I didn't know what hurt more, the fact that he walked out or that I hadn't seen it coming. By mid-morning, the text started rolling in. Karen, ever the nosy neighbor, was the first. "Hey, just checking in. That was something last night. Hope you're okay." Then came Jennifer. "Claire, I feel awful. Do you want to talk? Maybe grab lunch." Even Karen's husband, Dale, chimed in. "Mark's a good guy. Hope you two work things out. Let me know if I can help." They all meant well, I suppose. But each message felt like a spotlight shining on my failure. And it only got worse when Karen texted again. This time with photo. Mark, sitting alone at a coffee shop across town. "Saw this and thought of you. Maybe you should go talk to him." I wanted to scream, or cry, or throw my phone against the wall. Instead, I just stared at the picture. Mark looked calm, resigned, maybe like someone who had already made up his mind about something. By lunchtime, I was pacing the living room, trying to figure out how things had spiraled so badly. It wasn't like we didn't love each other. Sure, we weren't the type of couple who posted anniversary tributes on Facebook or called each other babe in public, but we had a good thing, didn't we? I try to remember the last time we had really talked, not about bills or grocery lists, but an actual, meaningful conversation. It had been months, maybe longer, somewhere between the daily routine and my habit of venting about him to friends. I had stopped seeing Mark as a person who could break, and now, apparently, I had found his breaking point. I tried calling him. No answer. So I texted, "Mark, I'm sorry. Can we please talk?" Nothing. An hour later, I tried again. "I'm not okay. I need to hear from you." Still nothing. By 4 p.m., the coffee pot was empty and my nerves were shot. Desperate, I started Googling things like what to do when your husband leaves and how to fix a marriage after screwing up. I ended up on a forum for women going through separation. Most seemed just as lost as I felt, except for one comment that stuck with me. You can't fix it if they don't want to be fixed, but you can show them you're willing to try. So I tried, but by the time I reached the coffee shop, he was gone. His brother, Tom, didn't know where he was either. "You're not everyone, Claire," Tom said. "You're his wife." That night, I sat alone in our bedroom, surrounded by reminders of him. His pillow, his clothes, the half-empty bottle of cologne on the dresser. Then the letter arrived. "Claire, I've been staying with a friend and thinking things through." I keep going back to that night, and it wasn't just the jokes. It was a realization that you stopped seeing me as your partner a long time ago. I don't know when it happened, but it's clear now that it did. I can't be the guy you mocked to feel better about yourself. I deserve more than that. And honestly, so, do you? I decided to file for divorce. It's not an easy decision, but it feels like the right one. I hope we can handle this respectfully. Take care. Mark. The finality of it crushed me. My first instinct was to argue, to beg, to fight. But deep down, I knew he was right. The divorce was quick, quiet. Life moved on, as it always does. It's been a year now. I still miss him every day. But I also know, sometimes the only way to save yourself is to walk away from someone who has already let you go.